guys, we are going to continue with circles by talking about how to find the arc length given the arc measure, the circumference, and so on. So first off, we have to know what a circumference is. And the circumference is the distance around the circle. It's like its perimeter. But we don't call it perimeter since it's a circle. Okay, so the circumference of a circle, we have two different formulas, and hopefully you remember these. But we can take pi and multiply it times the diameter, or we can multiply 2 times pi times the radius. And that makes sense because the radius is half of the diameter, so we double the radius, and then it's equal to the diameter. So find the indicated measure. We want to find the circumference of a circle with a radius of 11 meters. So we need to use, if we have the radius, we're going to use c equals 2 pi r. So then I know 2 times pi times that radius of 11, and I get 22 pi meters. Now, if we're asking for an exact answer, that's it. That's all we do. If it wants an approximate answer, though, we go ahead and put that in our calculator, and we get about 69.12 meters. All right, we want to know the radius of a circle if we have the circumference. So again, since I'm dealing with radius, I'm going to use 2 pi r. So I know the radius is 18, or I know the circumference is 18. I set that equal to 2 pi, and I'm solving for r. So I'm going to divide by 2, and I get 9 equals pi r, and then I'm going to divide by pi. So r equals 9 over pi, and our label would be yards, if that's what we're asking for. That's not a very pretty exact answer, but it's an exact answer. Or we can plug in 9 divided by pi, and we get about 2.86 yards. So either of these would be answers depending on what your book or your test is asking for. Okay, the dimensions of a skateboard wheel shown at the right are in millimeters. To the nearest meter, how far does the wheel travel when it makes 35 revolutions? Okay, so we're talking how far does the wheel travel. We want to know the distance around the circle. We need to know the distance around the circle 35 times. So first, we need to find the circumference. That will tell me the distance around the circle one time. So what I notice is I have 20, 15, and 20. That would be 55 millimeters. And that would be the diameter. That's all the way across the circle. So I can do pi times diameter. So 55 pi millimeters would be the circumference. Now, we can multiply that out and come up with about 172.79 millimeters. But again, that's only one time around the circle. We need to go 35 times. So we need to take this answer and multiply by 35. So when I multiply by 35, I get 6,047.65 millimeters. We have to do some conversions here because it wants to know to the nearest meter. So you may have used something like this, where this would be your meters. So we're going from millimeters to meters, so 3 decimal places, or 1,000 is what we would divide by. So we get about 6.05 meters, but it says to the nearest meter, so your answer here would be 6 meters. Okay, so then if we know that the circumference tells us the whole distance around, we can set up a ratio to find just part of the distance around. So think of this as like ratios, like fractions. So our ratio would look like this. Our degree measure of the arc that we're trying to find, so of arc AB, over the total degrees in a circle, and total degrees in a circle are 360, is equal to, we want the arc length over the circumference, the total distance around. So notice the top part of that ratio is the parts of the circle. The bottom part is the whole thing. 360 degrees is all the way around. Circumference is all the way around. So if we want the arc length of AB, let's fill in the pieces that we know. We know the degree measure is 88. The total degree is 360. That's equal to, we don't know the arc length. That's what we want. So we want the arc length of AB. So length over the whole circumference. So I don't have the circumference here, but I do have the radius. So I know that for circumference I can do 2 times pi times the radius of 2. So in this case, I'm going to cross multiply, and I end up with 88 times 4 pi. And I'm going to do 88 times 4, and I get 352 pi when I cross multiply. So 352 pi, and then I get 360 times that arc length. So now how do you get to just the arc length? We need to divide by 360. So 352 pi divided by 360 is about 3.07. And our label should be meters, since that's the label on our radius. Alright, let's try one more of these. So we're going to set it up. The degree measure is 60. Over our total degrees is 360. That's equal to the arc length. We already know that. It's given to us. 3.44 over the circumference. And that's what we're looking for. So we don't need to put 2 pi r there. We can just put c for circumference. That's what we're solving for. So now I have 60c equals 3.44 times 360. That is 1238.4. So I'm going to divide by 60 on both sides. So I get the circumference is 20.64. And I see that my label should be centimeters. Alright guys, we will definitely practice some more of these in class. If you have questions, please come in and see me. If not, I'll see you.